Welcome one and all to Dreamland, a new segment here on the show where we share our hopes and dreams. And today's hopes and dreams are all about the Alolan Pokémon form. So we'll be sharing our wish lists with each other and, of course, with you listeners. So let's get started. Alex, you want to start off our rotation?
Sure.
Or discussion, or however, it'll work somehow.
Whatever we call it. So, I had a hard time kind of picking ones that I think would be interesting.
Yeah, me too.
At first, because mostly it was just like, oh, well, there's these popular ones, and then it occurred to me that there's so many Gen 1 Pokemon that really just aren't super popular. But one that occurred to me was Grimer and Muck.
Okay.
They're these sort of like liquidy, sludgy creatures, and I thought it would be cool if they were poison/steel. Then they'd be liquid metal.
That'd be cool. Okay. Ben?
Alright, so my first pick is one that I've wanted since Gen 1, and that is for Gyarados to actually be a dragon. Specifically Water Dragon. And I know why they didn't do that, because in Gen 1 there were no actual dragon moves outside of Twister, which did a set amount of damage. So a Water Dragon type would have had no weaknesses, plus awesome stats, so Gyarados would have just been untouchable. But I was really bummed when his Mega Evolution didn't make him half dragon. And now that they're doing this whole Alolan region thing, I think it would be really cool if they finally gave Gyarados a dragon type.
Nice. Okay, cool. I don't really have thoughts even that in-depth on any of my suggestions, but I've got a couple groups of Pokemon that can kind of work. There are some that I think could get Alolan forms just because it could be interesting to see them look a little bit more tropical. So I think Butterfree and Beedrill and the Hoenn bugs too, Beautyfly and Dustox, could be interesting. Different like wing patterns or shapes and stuff, that could be neat. Vileplume, like open up that flower a little bit more, make it prettier or something, or bigger, I don't know. Dugong and Seal, take them away from ice type, make them like water and fairy or something. Fire could be really cool.
Yeah.
Cloyster, again, take away the ice type, have like a tropical shell, maybe like pink Cloyster and like water rock.
I've actually got Cloyster on my list too, but I went a very different direction than you. It doesn't really make it more tropical, it's more, I just thought this would be cool as and that's making Cloyster steel/ghost, with its shell being like a metallic spiky thing, and then the creature inside being a ghost.
That would be really cool. Okay, my idea is way worse. I think
and that works really well too, because the original art for Cloyster is just so menacing.
Yeah, definitely. And then keeping on with the tropical theme, I think Carnivine and Tangela they could do something really cool with. Seeking they could make more tropical, although maybe Seeking is Hawaiian enough. And I don't know. There's a handful of others, but I'll cede my talking point for now.
So, Colin, you mentioned the tropical thing, and one of your picks was Vileplume. I thought it'd be really interesting to kind of play up Vileplume, the Oddish line, and the Bellsprout line as kind of like opposed to each other. And I don't know exactly what the type matchups would be, but one thing that I was thinking was maybe Oddish could be a dark/fairy and just completely ditch the grass element altogether, because we haven't had a dark, as far as I know, we haven't had a dark/fairy Pokemon. Oddish is kind of sprightly, but at the same time, Vileplume has that Vile in its name, and so it seems like it should be dark as well. I also thought about making it grass/fairy versus the Bellsprout line, which would be grass/dark, and that would sort of be how they go at each other.
Okay, cool.
But those are kind of, they were really great Pokemon back in the Gen 1 days, and I think they need to be a little more interesting to be more relevant today, and I think that'd be a good way to do that.
Sure, yeah.
And then another idea that I had was Farfetch'd, making him a normal/ghost Pokemon, where he's like this spiritual swordsman warrior type.
Cool, nice. Okay.
I don't know how that'd look, because Alolan is more like Hawaiian, and this sounds more like it'd be a samurai type thing, but I'm sure they'd figure something out.
Kind of in a similar vein, I had some ideas for some Pokemon that could be more like specifically Hawaiian. I think Marowak would be really cool as like a fire dancer.
I also have Marowak on my list, but again, for a completely different reason.
Okay, cool.
This one doesn't really go with the Alolan theme as much, but I mean, I think it would be a missed opportunity not to have a Ghost Marowak.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I think the Fire Dancer would be like a ghost type. Like it's at night, and like I think Fire Ghost would be a cool thing for Marowak.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool.
Anyway, so and then another Fire Dancer, Hariyama, and Jinx as a hula dancer.
Nice. I've heard the Jinx suggestion before, so that's a good one.
Cool. So, getting back to how I feel like these games are drawing inspiration from the Orange Islands, I think this would be a cool time to introduce the Crystal Onyx from the anime as maybe like an ice type or something. And
cool.
Instead of having it evolve into Steelix, that sort of form would just be an offshoot that, got a big stat boost and gained the ice type and stuff instead of turning steel. I think they could do some fun things with that.
Ice and Rock would be a cool type combo.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty weak defensively, but I guess they could just
they'd have to give it an interesting ability.
High.
You're just balling stats to counter that.
Yeah.
Going off of Vulpix and Ninetales getting a makeover, I thought it'd be cool if Growlithe and Arcanine did as well. And I was trying to think of what types it should be. Ninetales ended up being Fire Fairy, right?
Ice Fairy.
Oh yeah, sorry. Ice Fairy. I thought it'd be cool if Arcanine was a electric fighting type. That's a type matchup that hasn't been done before. It sort of keeps the ferocity of Arcanine, but sort of with an interesting type where they can completely change his design, kind of like how they did Vulpix and Ninetales.
Yeah, wow, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. I like that idea of that type combo. It's pretty good, like, offensively. A lot of good options there.
Yeah.
I think there are a couple Pokemon that they could do some interesting, like, ancient deity stuff with the fossil Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, like, just about all of them. And I kind of get this vibe of, like, an ancient Hawaiian, like, something to do with, like, Totem Pole or, like, an ancient Hawaiian legend. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of cool potential there in redoing the fossil Pokemon. Just about all of them.
Yeah. They had, I forget what the Pokemon's name is, but there's a new bird that changes forms based on all of the different islands. And I wonder if, we could see something where, like, Aerodactyl takes on a different element based on the island that it's breeding at.
Huh, that'd be really cool.
Or, because Aerodactyl's been kind of this, like, he's sort of featureless compared to some of the other fossil Pokemon. He doesn't really have,
I kind of like that about it, though.
I like that about him too, but it makes him kind of ripe to have sort of things bolted onto his design.
Yeah. And Alola does feel kind of like a Skull Island kind of parallel, where there can be prehistoric creatures that have been living there in seclusion for a long time.
A lost world.
So I could see a like a little mini area, I guess, like an underwater cavern or something, where like you come up into this cave under the water and there's all these ancient Pokemon still living and breathing around, and you can catch them just like any other guy. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Ben, I think you're next.
Sure. This one doesn't really have any reasoning behind it besides awesome, and that is a Fire Blastoise.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
I mean, it'd basically just be
cool.
like Bowser, but hey, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I saw some great fan art where people basically just kind of shuffled the starters around. So
yeah, I think I saw that too.
I forget what the types ended up being, but I think Charmander was a water type, and I don't remember what the mix-ups were, but I thought that was sort of a cool idea too. Cool. Just mix them all up.
And then another one I had that's just, to me, seems obvious, and I don't know why this wasn't this way in the first place, is Flygon gaining Bug type. Because he's like a dragonfly.
Yeah.
And then he's ground dragon, which I always found weird.
I don't believe there is a bug dragon combo.
No, I don't
either.
believe there's either. So that'd be great to have that first there as well. Plus, he'd get stab on U-turn, which is always nice.
So a couple of other ideas I can throw out here. I thought it'd be cool if Arbok gets like a dark type or just some kind of new design for Alola. I think that Dugtrio should get an Alolan form and just be 19 feet tall.
Yes.
I think Slowking should get an Alolan form, and instead of that like rock shelter hat, it's like a fruit hat. And he's like a happy kind of like, I don't even know, like he's just dancing around with the fruit hats on his head and everything. And Piloswine could be cool, kind of like a Hawaiian, like a tropical kind of boar. Piloswine and Swinub, and I guess Mamoswine too.
I like the idea of Rotom, of course.
I was waiting for you to say
getting
that.
just getting more combos. Like I don't know what they'd be because I can't think of any other appliances that he could inhabit, and I doubt Alola's going to focus on technology very much. But find an excuse to give it more types.
Maybe you can battle with the Pokedex form of Rotom.
Yeah,
I know, right?
great.
He's already got his Alolan form, Alex.
Psychic ghost or something. I mean, he possesses stuff, so maybe that's just the angle they go with.
So a lot of people have pointed out over the years that Clefable and Gengar are almost identical in like shape and size, and there's all kinds of fan theories that Gengar is just a ghost Clefable. So I was kind of thinking, where I could go with that, like a half ghost type Clefable or a half fairy type Gengar, and I settled on a fairy/poison Clefable because Gengar's ghost poison.
That's
and then,
cool.
So I thought that'd be like a nice like in between point.
Yeah, or maybe they could each get an Alolan form, and it's kind of like that's really cool. Okay, I think it'd be cool if the Johto starters all got Alolan forms, in kind of the same vein that all the Kanto starters got Mega forms, or Mega evolutions. It'd be cool if they just took, all three of the Johto Pokemon this time and said, "Hey, you get a new kind of form for Alola." It'd be a nice callback to the generation, and it's got that sort of parallelism with X and Y, so... And I think all three do look kind of like they could have something to gain within the Alolan form, like Meganium being big and blooming and tropical, and Typhlosion could be like one of those kind of fire dancers or something too. I don't know.
So my last idea, and this would be sort of piggybacking off Pokemon Go, or maybe sort of tying the lore to Alola in some way, but giving the 3 Kanto legendary birds Alolan forms.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know what they'd be, but they could probably find a way to play off of the different sort of aspects of the 3 different teams. Like maybe Moltres just becomes more powerful. I think Instinct was about breeding, so maybe Zapdos gets like a baby form.
I thought Instinct was about getting made fun of on social media.
We'll go with that.
So Zapdos is going to get a really long neck.
A sad Zapdos.
Yes. Oh my god, I would love that. Are you kidding me? He already has one in yellow, like replay yellow. I'm like, why is Zapdos' neck so long?
Zapdos just becomes a meme. And then Articuno, I guess, maybe could evolve because Mystic's about evolution.
Maybe,
but I don't know. I don't know how that would play out. But I like the idea of taking the legendary birds since the Gen 1 hype is real nowadays, and those Pokemon haven't really been played with at all in a lot of the recent sort of shakeups.
Yeah. Cool. So I've got about 2 more handfuls of names to throw out there, and I don't have any ideas for these at this point, but I just,
rapid fire them.
Yeah, I feel like there's something to be said for them, so, Xatu, Yanma, Shuckle, Torkoal, Swalot, and, Gulpin, and then Lunatone and Solrock, something to do with Sun and Moon there. And I think those 2 Pokemon are ripe for some kind of new thing to be done with them, so that's the first half of the rapid fire. Ben, I know you've got one more suggestion left, right?
Yeah, I've got one left, and this is another one where I actually put a little bit of thought into it. So people have noted that all the Pokedex descriptions for Executor note that it grows bigger in sunlight. I think it says specifically that its heads grow bigger in sunlight, and that it's originally from the tropics. And the description of it in Sun and Moon say that they consider the Alolan form to be the true form. So I was kind of thinking how they could do something similar with Tropius, who is also very clearly a tropic Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
So I was kind of looking at its description in the old Pokédex and stuff like that, and it talks about how Tropius has fruit growing from its neck that only gets ripe twice a year, and then it loves to share it with the children of the islands of the southern tropics, is what it says. It loves sharing its fruit with the children of the southern tropics. So I was thinking you could kind of have this background story for Tropius, where throughout most of the year it kind of flies around and just goes on vacation, does whatever the heck it wants, but twice a year it returns home to the tropics and lands so it can share its fruit with all called the children because it loves the children. So I was thinking it comes back and becomes a grass ground type because it gives up its flying for a while, and then its design would have it just like, bigger and like flowing with like fruit and stuff. I don't really know what you would do with it stats wise, but I think it would be cool to have like a grass ground trophy.
And then it summons a gang of children to beat up its opponents.
It sounds like a Hawaiian version of Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was thinking of Tropius, but I felt like he was already sufficiently tropical. But that's a really cool idea. So then my last handful of stuff that I don't know what to do with but think needs something. Luxray, Bronzong, Abomasnow, Snorunt's whole line, so Glalie and Frostlass 2, Jellicent from Black and White, because, like, Hawaii, jellyfish and stuff. Alomomola, because it needs an Alolan form for Alomomola.
Oh my God.
And Howlucha.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would do with that, but it seems like it needs one.
I just got a random sort of last-minute revelation, and that is a Pine Cove that is a pineapple.
Wait, Pine Cove?
Pineapple Cove.
Yeah, Pine Cove.
Pineco?
I don't know.
The Johto one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a cool idea. I like that.
And maybe it gets like an alternate evolution or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Or like Fortress becomes more like an actual like Hawaiian nut thing.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something for Fortress, but I couldn't really come up with
Yeah, me too. But that's a good idea. Something, going off of a pineapple, and then maybe like a Fortress becomes an entire Hawaiian feast.
It shoots Dole
Cool.
Whip at its opponents.
Hello everybody, thank you for listening to this Nintendo Week clip, NWC. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to us here on YouTube for more highlights and discussion videos from Nintendo Week podcast, or subscribe to us on iTunes for weekly breakdowns of all your Nintendo news, discussion segments on subjects, games, and more, and tons of other features. Thanks for listening, and we will see you tomorrow with another NWC.